going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. As always, it has been a little while since the last video, but if you are a fan of mini crawlers, this video is for you. We're going to be taking a look at this Whip D1, UPL D1. We're going to be taking a look at this thing. This 1/18 scale four-wheel drive crawler is a ready to run, so everything you need to drive it comes in the box. It has a pretty nice controller, which we're going to take a look at. It also comes in a few different colors, even though the color I got isn't shown. We are going to be comparing it to the Traxxas variant because this thing, as you guys will see, is pretty much an exact clone of the TRX 4M. Taking a look at the boxes, not that the box is really important at all, but you can see it is almost the same size. It is a little bit shorter and a little bit narrower, but pretty much the same size box as a TRX 4M. Starting off with the controller that you get, it's honestly pretty nice. It feels pretty quality. It has a fairly firm trigger, which I do like if you're trying to work on the slow speed. You can reach it and thumb steer, which is always cool. You've got one auxiliary button there for your lights. This controls how much steering angle you get. Then you've got your regular steering. Got your steering trim, your throttle trim. You've got 3 different speed modes. Got reverse for your steering and throttle if you want to reverse that. All in all, it is a fairly ergonomical feeling remote. You do kind of hit your finger on this big round nodular thing they've got going on here when you're doing reverse. Nothing really to complain about, but you do kind of notice it gets stuck there. Not a super long throw on reverse, but all in all, a pretty nice controller. Right out of the box, you aren't going to be able to put oil in the shocks. It's just going to leak right out. So it's pretty springy feeling. It does do okay. The tires we will take a look at, but we did change them over to the Endura 1.3 bead locks with the Obsidian Claw tires. All in all, phenomenal. We did trim the fenders a little bit to make everything work, but I would highly recommend. Just doing those upgrades, stock, shocks, wheels and tires, and the servo, you're still coming in cheaper than a TRX 4M, and honestly, I think you're going to get better performance out of this with the little bit of upgrades that you were able to do and staying under that TRX 4M price line. Now to pull the body off, it's pretty much just like a Traxxas, except it's a little bit more finicky. The plastic is a little bit harder, but you've got 2 clips, front and rear, and then the body comes off. Like I've said, it's a really nice hard body. It is painted on the exterior, so if you scratch it up, you might see some of that white starting to shine through. Not the end of the world, but that is something to note. It does have light controllers. Not the best looking job, but they are up in there, and they're not dangling all over the place, so you can't complain. One thing I really like that the Traxxas does not come with is these right here. You've got some running boards on the bottom, and you also have inner wheel wells. It's all one piece, and it just screws in right there on the side. You could put this on the Traxxas, which actually, if you take a look at the Bronco over here, I've got something. It's not wheel wells, but it is just little running boards. It kind of stiffens up the body. That is one thing I didn't like about the Traxxas, is the body seemed very flimsy on the sides. So it kind of stiffens it up on the side, makes it look a little bit better and hide a little bit more crap. Moving back to this, I have adapted this to work with a Traxxas battery. Since I've got a bunch of these, I just butt connected in a little connector there. So that way we can run the Traxxas battery. So your electronic speed controller and receiver are all one piece, just like on the Traxxas right there. You've got a big, I believe it's a 370 brushed motor. It's got a ton of power and honestly a fairly decent top speed. I don't see myself replacing this anytime soon, except for the fact that I would like to pair it to my new controller, so we might have to ditch this system at some point. Looking at the bottom of this, if you are familiar with the TRX 4Ms, this probably looks really familiar. What I like about this is it actually comes stock with some high clearance front and rear links. Your 4 links, they've got a nice bend in them there, which is something you do upgrade on the TRX 4Ms. You usually end up putting the high clearance links. I like that. It's got a nice front and rear drive shaft in there. They are plastic, but they do not have that band like the Traxxas that if you snap it, your pin could fall out and then your drive shaft comes apart. That is also pretty cool. Granted, these are plastic dowels that you're relying on. At some point, probably end up replacing the drive shafts. Taking a look at the axles, you honestly have some really nice looking axles. They are plastic. You don't have a front diff cover. I actually happen to have a front TRX, actually this is a rear TRX 4M axle housing, but you can see the difference in designs. These are more of the diamond, kind of a heavier duty looking axle. As far as the frame and the center transmission motor mount, as well as cross member right there, is all TRX4M. You can actually go ahead and drop TRX4M parts directly into this. I know that because of the servo, and just looking at everything, it is 100% a clone. This is actually a little update. It is 100% true. You can drop TRX4M upgrade parts directly into this bad boy. I will say the stock wheels and tires that come with it are actually pretty nice. The tires are kind of hard, but they're also fairly squishy. They do seem super sticky, and the foam is, well, it's not a super hard foam. So these are worth 100% keeping. I would put these on another build for sure. They are the 1.3 inch wheels, so they are the bigger wheels. And all in all, they are a pretty nice tire. I just wanted something with a little bit more weight. I do like the tread on these. These are pretty aggressive. I think these tires would look cool on the 6x6 Wrecker, which you guys haven't seen yet. But they just are, I don't know, they do look cool on this, but let me know down in the comments what you guys think. Once you have your battery plugged in, there is a little on and off switch on the bottom. It is a little gimmicky. It feels a little cheap having an on and off switch. Also, I feel like there's a chance you might hit it on a rock and turn it off. I haven't done it yet. You know, it is kind of nice to just leave the battery plugged in. I wouldn't do it for a long time, but it is kind of cool to just be able to turn it on. You got your remote here. So you have lights. I did add lights in the bumpers on front and rear, so it does not come with lights in the bumpers, but it does come with light on the grill, a light on the grill that changes colors. It's got a bunch of different presets on it. And then if you hold down that button right there, hold it, you will turn the headlights on. And then you can do whatever, turn it on, off. I think there's also just, oops, past it. There is just a on and off like light bar mode. As far as the speeds 1, 2, and 3, 3 is gonna be a lot quicker. And then I like, actually, if you're gonna be doing really technical, you don't really care about reverse speed, 1 is way controllable. So you can just slowly pull that and get a pretty decent slow crawl. And before we take this thing out on the rocks, here it is compared to the TRX4M Bronco. It's sitting on portals and it's got the high trail tires, but for the body comparison, pretty well scaled. They're both 1/18 scale, so they should be pretty equal, and it looks like they are. The Jeep might be a little bit bigger, and here it is next to the 6x6 Wrecker, which is kind of a sneak peek. Now let's go crawl. One of the first things you're going to notice right out of the box is this thing, the motor on it. It's a 370 turn brushed motor, but it has an insane slow crawl capability. As long as you can keep that trigger going quite slow, it has the power and the torque to kind of motor on and give you that brushless feeling. You do have to trigger it a little bit. You got to drive it just a little bit, which honestly, having cars that are super capable, it is kind of fun having one that you do have to put a little bit more effort into driving it and working the trigger and all that jazz that goes along with that. The steering, like I said, the steering servo was super weak, so we put the 7 kilogram Endura servo in it, and that thing hasn't let me down. I've got those in a couple other rigs, as well as the 11 kg servos, and those things are absolute money. Another thing that really surprised me, even when I was driving it stock, these tires aren't much bigger than the stock tires, and for having straight axles, it does have really good ground clearance with those high link bars. I know I'm saying that right as I got it stuck, but sometimes you turtle a little bit, but you're not really stuck if you can get out. So yes, there is some ground clearance issues. You do have the higher shock perches. You could change out the shock perches and that would raise the body up a little bit for you, but if you just drive it, you look at where you're going, I was really surprised how capable this thing really is out of the box. Further up on the trail, there is a spot that this thing had a little bit of a difficult time. It didn't actually make it up. Not to say it was from lack of effort. You'll see, we tried for a minute, but it didn't make it. And with the upgrades that we've done later on, at the end of the video, you'll see it ends up making it. So that is pretty cool to be able to compare how it was doing through this section versus how it does with the upgrades that we've done since 4th. And as surprising as it may be, this is actually not the spot where I was talking about it struggling. Although I forgot, it did struggle a little bit here. Granted, every build I've tried has struggled right here. And with that very nice little self-recovery, I think that's a perfect spot to go ahead and call it, bring it back in, and talk about our final thoughts. So in my opinion, if you already have a Traxxas TRX 4M and you're looking for something a little bit different, but still same.
Have different faces, but inside, we are same.
I would definitely recommend this. It's a nice hard body, it looks cool, and of course it takes Traxxas upgrades, so that is always a big thumbs up in my opinion. And before we go, we got to take a look at this thing with the high trail arms because it's an absolute beast now.